Hi there, this is Solitaire Ronan from Solitaire Ronan Films, and welcome to another random review. And today's random review is Raw Deal, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger film. This is the Anthony Mann film from 1948, starring George O'Keeffe, Claire Trevor, and Marsha Hunt. This is a Blu-ray release from Classic Flicks, which is a company I'm not particularly familiar with, but it's actually a nice little release because you get a relatively thick booklet, relatively speaking, with nice images and posters from the film. There's actually inside artwork as well. This is obviously a film noir, and I love film noir. Basically they're generally simple stories, but they're shot beautifully, and there's a big heap of fatalism about them, which I'm a big fan of fatalism. The bonus features on this include an audio commentary by author and film historian Jeremy Arnold, not Germany Arnold. That's a completely different person. Deadly's the Male, The Making of Raw Deal, which is a good featurette. Dennis O'Keeffe, An Extraordinary Ordinary Guy, which is another featurette. An image gallery. There's a restoration comparison, because this is actually a 2K restoration from a print that BFI had. So why should you watch Raw Deal when there are plenty of film noirs about? You should watch it because it's directed by Anthony Mann, who is probably more famous for his James Stewart westerns. Obviously the Glenn Miller story and Strategic Air Command with James Stewart as well. But he also did some film noirs. It's shot by John Alton, who's one of the great classic Hollywood cinematographers, and this is absolutely stunning, especially in the Blu-ray. You could probably switch off the volume and just watch the film, probably not on your first viewing obviously, but perhaps your second viewing or third if you listen to the commentary in your second viewing. His use of shadows and light are just stunning. There's shots that are just absolutely beautiful. At times it's on the kind of Third Man, Orson Welles level of cinematography. It's just phenomenal. It's a basic story of a guy played by George O'Keeffe who's in prison, taking the fall for the boss, Rick, played wonderfully by Raymond Burr. Get to him in a second. And the two women in his life, Claire Trevor, who's his girlfriend, who's hard bitten but still would do anything for him, even though she doesn't really know whether it's reciprocal, and Marsha Hunt, who works in the lawyer firm, and she gets involved in the story because George O'Keeffe, Dennis O'Keeffe, I keep calling him George O'Keeffe, it's Dennis O'Keeffe, I apologise. George O'Keeffe's his brother. He is set up to escape from prison by Raymond Burr's character, but Raymond Burr doesn't actually want him because he owes him money, and he says he's getting out to give him the money, but he's got no intention of giving the money. He's just hoping that he gets killed or put back in prison, but it makes it look as though Raymond Burr's character Rick has helped him, even though he doesn't really want to help him. But what makes this noir unusual is the voiceover is from Claire Trevor. The voiceover isn't from the leading man, which is really quite interesting, and I can't think of another noir that has the female doing the voiceover. And she is pretty much explaining about her emotional state and what's going through her mind rather than plot exposition, which a lot of the time that's the point of a voiceover. It's really just to explain plot to the audience. But this is really unusual because it's Claire Trevor telling us essentially how she feels. So when he breaks out, he finds a safe place, which happens to be Marsha Hunt's apartment, and then she goes on the road with him on the run. So it's the Dennis O'Keefe and his two women. Now Marsha Hunt obviously detests him at the start, talks about which stone they crawled out of from under. But during their journey together, allegiances change, the women's characteristics change. You know, at one point, Marsha Hunt's character picks up a gun, which obviously she's not used to. And again, as we hear Claire Trevor's internal monologue with herself almost, she's not really talking to the audience. It's really unusual for a film noir, or a film in general. There's not too many films in general that have a female voiceover, and again a female voiceover that's not doing exposition. I'm talking about Raymond Burr, who Anthony Mann shoots from underneath, so he makes him look even more imposing and even more massive. He's the crime boss who has a penchant for fire. He has a little habit of like opening a lighter next to people's ears. And there is one really shocking moment where he does something with fire. I won't spoil it, but it's pretty shocking even to modern audiences. So he's like obviously a bit of a psychopath, but he plays it really well. It's funny because watching it, I'm kind of reminded of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, his character Negan in The Walking Dead. Raymond Burr kind of still, he has that same kind of dangerous swagger. It's unpredictable. You don't really know what he's going to do next. I mean, Raymond Burr is just fantastic in this film. So you should watch it for Anthony Mann's direction. You should watch it for John Alton's cinematography. You should watch it for Raymond Burr just playing a great heavy. You should watch it for the unusual voiceover. The female characters actually have something to do, and they're actually well written. Because let's be honest, a lot of noirs, the women don't really have much to do. It's generally a kind of male-driven genre. That's why one of the Arrow Academy releases, Women on the Run, is really good, because that focuses more on the women's story. And also Too Late for Tears, which I've talked about before, again an Arrow Academy, with Lisbeth Scott, which is just amazing as well. It comes down to a great climax, again, something to do with fire. I mean, the fire is shot absolutely beautifully. And again, you can kind of figure out what the ending will be like. It's fatalism of the highest quality, which is one of the reasons I love noir so much. People generally go on journeys that they know aren't going to end well, and they're perfectly aware of that. Originally the script was a treatment called Corkscrew Alley, which kind of sums up the film. So it wasn't, also ended up being called Raw Deal, but Corkscrew Alley is kind of the base of Raymond Burr's operations. And that kind of gives you a clue of the kind of character changes and the plot changes. There's a wonderful set piece fight in a kind of sports and kind of hunting shop, which features a stuffed grizzly bear, which is very good. It's just a really nice little film noir that, again, it's great that it's getting a proper Blu-ray release, because the cinematography is just stunning in it. So please let me know in the comments below if you have seen Raw Deal, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, by Anthony Mann. And hopefully we'll see you again for more random reviews. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you again for more. This is Solitary Ronin, Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.